We love our classic British sitcom characters.
How's that? Rather Churchillian, don't you think?
We grew up with them, we quote them, and we know them like old friends.
Thank you very much. Actually, I can't wait to get cracking.
But let's be honest, some of these legends would be an absolute nightmare to live next door to.
What are you doing with that daft lot?
From garden battles to collapsing ceilings, these neighbours would test the patience of a saint.
About time you had a bit of law and order around here anyway.
Here are the top 10 vintage sitcom characters you definitely wouldn't want living next door. So grab some tea and biscuits and let's start the countdown.
They had a recount.
10. Mrs. Slocum from Are You Being Served, played by Molly Sugden.
Well, you know how clumsy those removal men are. I'm not having them handling my pussy.
A proud woman with a passion for her pussy.
Today's the day my pussy comes of age.
The feline kind, of course, but try hanging your washing out next to hers and you'd get an earful about the breeze interfering with her unmentionables.
Whatever's that?
She's nosy, she's fussy, and she'd be on the tenants' committee before you'd unpacked your boxes. Prepare for curtain twitching and very loud telephone calls.
I think it's ridiculous expecting us to fit a customer with a bra in this weather.
9. Alf Garnett from Till Death Us Do Part.
I know that, I know!
Played by Warren Mitchell. Alf doesn't argue, he rants.
Is he your son? Well, why don't you teach him a bit of bloody manners then?
Whether it's politics,
It's unfair representation, isn't it?
neighbours, or how long you leave your car running, Alf always has a grumble loaded and ready to fire.
You bloody do he seeing it? So when you ain't got bed sores in your arse and ass,
Pop round to borrow a tea bag and you'll get a 2-hour lecture on what's wrong with the country.
he ain't talking about you silly moo. No, I mean, he's talking about people who work.
He might be comedy gold, but as a neighbour, absolutely exhausting.
Yes! Leave your silly old...
8. Blakey from On the Buses, played by Stephen Lewis.
I hate you, Bucker. I hate you.
Now, imagine hearing that through a party wall every day.
Because it's the wrong type, you great nit.
Blakey's a job's worth with a clipboard and a permanent scowl.
You must think I'm blooming potty. You've got more on your plate than you paid for, mate.
He'd report you for having your bins out too early and demand a rota for hedge trimming.
You see about that, mate? I've got you, butler. Remember, you sign on for duty. Now, don't leave the depot.
If you value your peace and quiet, steer clear.
Good. Put your money in here, mate. See if you get a double helping out of that.
7. Captain Mannering from Dad's Army, played by Arthur Lowe.
Just as I thought.
Pompous, particular, and permanently offended.
A friend of mine's lending me the armour. I don't think he'd want anybody else to wear it.
Captain Mannering would host neighbourhood meetings about the colour of your front door.
Look at that door. It's only been up a few minutes. It's already in ruins.
He'd enforce the rules of the Residents' Association with military precision.
Things will be very different after the war. You mark my words. Common man will come into his own.
And probably salute you while telling you off. Your recycling habits would never be good enough.
Man in my position couldn't be seen fighting a dragon in cardboard armour.
6. Norah Batty from Last of the Summer Wine, played by Kathy Starr.
What are you doing on these steps?
Legendary for her wrinkled stockings and strict standards.
Take him away.
Norah's not one for nonsense.
Get away, you cheeky monkey. Don't be so personal.
Football in the garden, no chance.
Get away. You just make the place look untidy.
Music after 7 p.m, absolutely not.
It makes you wonder what they want with a woman at their age.
If your daffodils lean 1 inch into her lawn, you'll be on the receiving end of a hard stare and a swift broom to the ankles.
Serves you right, you daft lot.
5. Mr. Rigsby from Rising Damp, played by Leonard Rossiter.
Hasn't even got time to talk to me these days. I'm going to have to do something about this, Desmond.
Living next to Rigsby means everything you do will be judged, questioned, and possibly condemned.
I'm here to ask you a few questions in a minute. You better straighten yourself up, keep your hands out your pockets. You might get your collar felt before the night's out.
He's nosy, stingy, and deeply suspicious of anything modern or cheerful.
They don't go in for views of the Cotswold and the blacksmith working at his forge. Oh, no.
He'd borrow your garden shears and return them rusty.
Glad you were halfway up a ladder. Anyway, you can forget about it. You're not getting back now. It's too late.
4. The Steptoes from Steptoe and Son, played by Wilfred Bramble and Harry H. Corbett.
You big overgrown kid! That serves you right, you lazy little turd!
A scrapyard on your doorstep, literally.
A staggering £72.50! Would you care to comment? Cobblers!
Old prams, broken bathtubs, and a whiff of horse manure on a hot day. Harold would look down on you.
If it wasn't for the occasional calls of nature, you'd be buried alive by Boxing Day.
Albert would leer at your missus.
Thought you said you could play this game.
And the shouting matches would rattle your windows. Charming to watch. but you'd be on Rightmove within a week.
We've been taking lessons.
In what?
You'll see.
3. George Roper from George and Mildred, played by Brian Murphy.
I was wearing this when I first met you.
Yes, I know. And then you took it off.
Now, George isn't nasty, he's just utterly clueless.
Say, do us a favour, will you? See if the fuel pipe's clear.
And that's the problem. He's the sort of neighbour who'd buy a battered old caravan.
That ain't smashing.
My God, it's worse than the car.
He once got locked out in his dressing gown and ended up gate crashing the neighbour's posh party.
And you're still locked out?
Yeah, you see, I couldn't get out the room.
George means no harm, but with his scruffy cardigans, dodgy DIY, and knack for saying the wrong thing at exactly the wrong time,
My chin.
Oh, don't worry, they soon grow out of it.
you'd never have a peaceful moment.
Afternoon, Sam.
He's the kind of neighbour who'd borrow your hedge trimmer, break it, and blame it on vibrations from the A23.
Oh, yeah, shovel. It's a bit tricky, son. I left it in the bucket of cement overnight.
2. Swin Froggit from... Oh no, it's Swin Froggit, played by Bill Maynard.
Can't be all that displeased with me, can they? I mean, they've actually asked me, to be their representative.
He means well, but Selwyn would knock 5 times a day to tell you the same anecdote about the brass band in 1974.
Hang on a minute, I'm going to pop down home. I've got something to show you. When you see this, you'll see me in a different light. It's magic.
He'd offer to fix your fence and demolish it instead.
If I could just have a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I'm your new concert secretary.
And every Sunday morning, you'd be woken up by him trying to install a new aerial using nothing but optimism and a ladder far too short.
You mean we went to all that trouble for nothing?
You went to all that trouble. None of the others bothered.
Magic? Not for his neighbours.
What's wrong with it?
It goes down the corner.
Only a bit.
1. Frank Spencer from Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, played by Michael Crawford.
All the upheaval of moving. Just as I was getting it straight.
Getting it straight.
Frank Spencer is the sort of neighbour who would pop round to borrow a screwdriver and accidentally remove your roof.
What are you doing up that tree? I didn't want to disturb you.
He'd reverse into your car, flood your kitchen, and somehow involve you in a plumbing catastrophe involving the council and a pair of roller skates.
Oh, God. It's the bullcock.
He's lovable, unforgettable, and an absolute health hazard.
It's not as bad as all that. Just put that back.
Living next to Frank would mean never knowing what part of your house might explode next.
It was broken, Mrs. Fisher. It was broken. You broke it.
So there we are, 10 sitcom neighbours you'd cross the road to avoid.
Did it have to come to this? Ejaculated from our fixed abode.
They made us laugh for decades, but if they moved in next door, you'd be pulling the blackout blinds and pretending to be out.
There you are. Now you see that dignified grey building there with the arched windows.
Who have we missed? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and appreciate the quiet neighbours while you've got them.
I shall have to see the housing officer. They've no right to send him to a nice, quiet street like this.